And I'll do
RW RWWilshire.com is another one. Okay. Anyhow, Ron, please come up.
You know what? Sitting there, it occurred to me, I was getting kind of uncomfortable because y'all were so uncomfortable up here, you know? But I got to thinking, do you know that there's this one person that watches you, you're always on film? Think about that. Oh, move over. Anyway, my name is Ronald Earl Wilshire. I am the lead instigator at Wilshire Media Group. We comfort the disturbed and we disturb the comfortable. I have something called my Way Cool Friends list. If you think you're way cool, give me your card. And if I agree with you, I'll add you to my list. It is my list, so it's my final decision. I'm going to introduce RonaldWilshire.com, by the way. I'm going to introduce Kathryn. And Cindy, we're going to give her 30 minutes. How long are we giving Kathryn? 30 minutes. This is a person that I'm amazed at. I mainly stay out of her way, but this is an example of a person that decided what she wanted, and then she went out and did something about it. She started a website 5 years ago called womansinsight.com. Now she owns Kathryn C. Wheat School of Real Estate. She's a professional speaker. She's very close to getting her book published. I think we'll look back on this day in the not too distant future and say, you know, she came and spoke to our group when she's getting $100,000 a fee, speaking fee. Right, Kathryn? Y'all welcome KathrynCWheat.com.
Thank you for the glowing introduction. I'm going to start my timer here so I don't go over, and I respect everybody's time. I have known many of you for since I started. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come and speak to your group today. I really appreciate the opportunity. Even though I have met many of you many times, we're friends. Some of you don't know much about my story. You don't know why I do what I do. And so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about that today. And then we're going to go into some networking things that I have been teaching that I think you will find amusing. I have many war stories to tell. And as Ronnie said, I am writing a book, and a lot of those are going to be included in the book as well. I want to start with one of my favorite quotes, and this is one of the things that has inspired me for a long time now. It's by T.S. Eliot, and it goes, "Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go." That has meant a lot to me over the years, because sometimes I feel like I'm just being foolish and trying things that make no sense at all. And a lot of people have thought that about me, but I kind of haven't cared. I embarked on entrepreneurism in 2007. I decided I wanted to be a home stager. So I took a course I did with my friend Cindy, and we did some home staging together. I was really shy, so I didn't do any networking for the business. The only work I got was through word of mouth referrals. Now, obviously, growth was really slow, but I was married at the time. I didn't really care about making money. It was just kind of something to do. I'd also been a volunteer, but I wanted to do something else that was just more for me. It was a laid-back approach, but that worked for me. So then in 2009, Cindy and I began talking about starting this website together. It was going to be a website for women. Did not start out being known as Woman's Insight, but that's the name of it now. So things did evolve, and we became womansinsight.com. But back in 2010, we finally launched the website, and it also happens that at the same time I was going through a divorce. So my approach was a little bit different than it was with the home staging business. I knew I was going to have to actually make money. But a lot of people thought I was foolish, crazy, and, you know, all of those things. And I probably was, because I really did not have the business skills. My computer skills were somewhat lacking. The things that I knew how to do on a computer included sending an email, and that's it. That's all I knew how to do on the computer. And here I was thinking that I was going to start this computer-based business. But for some reason, I didn't let that stop me. the idea kept tugging at my heart, and I didn't want to let it go, even though it didn't make really good sense. I had been a volunteer for 2 decades. I had done things like be on the PTO, picked up trash on the side of the road. I served on my church building committees, did all kinds of stuff. I was never a stay-at-home mom, but I realized that while volunteerism is a great noble endeavor, it wasn't going to pay the bills. All I had to offer corporate America was volunteer work. That's not what they want to see on a resume, or it's not the only thing they want to see on a resume. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get an entry-level position earning minimum wage if I go that route. So I decided to become an entrepreneur once again and set out on that journey because I knew it was the only chance I had to be able to live while making a living. So I took a basic computer class at Houston Community College, and I learned how to do things like cut and paste. I learned what a URL was. I learned what a search engine was. I learned all kinds of things, and that was great, and I did really well, and I soaked it all in. But once I learned that much, I soon realized that there was a whole world of things that were going to need to be learned. But again, I didn't let that stop me. I just kept moving forward. Now, in order to have the website built, I actually had to sell some of my jewelry at an auction. And I got it sold, earned the money, because obviously I did not have the tech skills to build my own website. I had to pay somebody to do that for me. Obviously, I did not have money for marketing. I didn't have any friends that were in marketing that wanted to give me free advice. So I decided that I was going to network. I had to get over being shy. That wasn't going to cut it anymore. I had to get out there and I had to start meeting people. And so I began to network. Believe me, I hit a lot of bumps in the road. There were a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome, but I kept my heart and mind open to all the possibilities that came my way. Whenever I saw a door open, I stepped inside. I stepped inside to see what's there. What is there something here for me that I can make this work? Things have evolved over the years. I didn't start out doing this website thinking I was going to become a speaker. I would have laughed if you'd have told me that. If you had told me I'd be speaking here today, in fact, I would have actually, laughed my head off and thought, you're the craziest person in the world. There's no way I'm going to do that. I never imagined most of this. And if you had told me all the things that I would need to learn and need to change in my life to get where I am now, 5 years later, I probably wouldn't have done it. I'd have said, no, it's too much. I can't do all that. That it's too big a burden. And I had gone and gotten that entry-level job making minimum wage. But I didn't. So, maybe it was foolishness. Maybe it was God just pointing me in the right direction every time. But here I am today speaking to this room anyway.
Yay!
Because of Woman's Insight. And I will tell you, let me back up just a minute. There's been a lot of people that have encouraged me over the years, and I really appreciate that. Some of you are in this room, and the support and advice I've gotten has just been tremendous. Many of you know that for me, failure wasn't an option. I did not have a plan B to fall back on. So because of Woman's Insight, I began speaking and telling my story. From there, I developed a networking presentation. And then over the years, I've committed many faux pas when it comes to networking. I've done a lot of things wrong. I've seen other people do a lot of things wrong, and I've learned a lot about networking. And so I decided to create this networking presentation. From there, I got it MCE certified so I can teach the class to realtors and they can get continuing education hours for it. Didn't let that stop me either. I decided to create my own real estate school. So now I also have Kathryn C. Wheat School of Real Estate. And I'm also writing a book on networking. One thing has just led to the other. But since this is a networking group, I thought that we'd spend the rest of our time talking about some of my war stories from networking, and then also sharing some tips that I share in my classes and that I also have in my book. So I'm going to need some volunteers. So I want y'all to be thinking about that right now. I'm going to need 3 volunteers to come up here and help me demonstrate something. So just kind of be ready, gear yourself up. I know that people kind of like panic when you say, I need a volunteer. It's not going to hurt. I won't embarrass you. Anyway, let's talk about what is networking. Does anybody have a description of networking that you want to share? I know you won't be on camera, but no takers? Okay.
Building relationships with people.
Building relationships with people. Very good. Very good answer. I have gotten a definition of networking that I think is the best one I've heard of, and it's what I share with everyone. Networking is simply starting a conversation with no destination in mind. So if you're starting a conversation and you have a destination like a sale in mind, people can see right through that. So don't talk to people thinking you're going to sell that person something. If your intentions are to sell to the room, then you're doing it all wrong, and you need to totally rethink your strategy, because it's not going to work. Might work on a few people, but you're going to get much further if you just start a conversation without any intentions. I want to tell you about my first networking event. First launched the website, my business partner at the time and I, Cindy, we went to an ABWA convention. That's American Businesswomen's Association, in case you don't know. And it was the convention. So there was a lot of people there, like 80 maybe, mostly women, a few men. And as the day started, we all sat down in a room somewhat like this, just a lot bigger. We were at, long tables seated. And the MC gets up there and sort of goes through the itinerary, the agenda for the day, what we're going to do, and then says, we're going to go around the room first, and everyone's going to stand up and state their name and tell us about their business. I'd never heard of that before. So it started going around the room, and Cindy and I are very nervously whispering back and forth to each other, trying to decide who is going to stand up, which one of us is going to do this, because neither one of us wanted to at all. I told you that I was shy, and I was really shy. And so we decided that it was going to be me. I was going to get to be the one to stand up. Well, it started going around the room, and then we realized we were both going to actually have to stand up and talk. And so it got right before me, and I look over at Cindy, and she's got hives breaking out on her neck and her chest. Now, some of you know Cindy, and we were just horrified. That's how bad it was. But you know what? In all honesty, it went just fine. Nobody knew how nervous we were. She stood up. She managed to say her name and say that she was with me with womansinsight.com. And she sat back down, and the hives went away. They faded, and it was fine. It was fine. So after that, I learned that this is called an elevator pitch. And I was worried about this. Like, I don't have one. So many of y'all have done your elevator pitches, your speeches in here, and you have these cute little sayings. And I didn't have one of those. I thought, wow, I got to figure that out real quick. So I actually paid a business coach to help me come up with an elevator pitch. And I don't even want to tell you how much I paid, because I'm embarrassed to tell you now. But I wrote, as a writer, the writing part was somewhat easy, but I proceeded to try to write it out, what's going to be like really catchy and say just what it needs to say. And so I wrote it, I memorized it, I rehearsed it, I timed it. I did all this stuff, and I think, okay, I'm ready. So I go out to a networking event, and I stand up and I do my little thing, and it kind of was flat. Nobody thought it was as cute as I thought it was. And I tried it several other times, and it just didn't ever come off like I wanted it to. And so I was rethinking the whole thing once again, like, what am I doing wrong? And I finally figured out that even though I had written it, it wasn't me. It wasn't how I talk, and it was not authentic. I actually realized that all I needed to do was be my natural, genuine, authentic self. I just needed to strip down to the bare naked person inside that I was, and that was enough. That's all people wanted to know. I want to ask you all, when everyone was up and coming across here and giving their elevator pitch, how many of you, I know that with the cameras and everything, you were a little bit more nervous than usual, but how many of you were really listening to what the other people were saying? A lot of you say you were. Okay. Well, a lot of times we're not, because we're thinking about what we're going to say. We're so worked up and nervous about it that that's all we can think about. It's all we can focus on. So I'm just here to tell you, don't get so worked up about it. People are not necessarily listening to you anyway. And they're going to pay a lot more attention to how you make them feel. It's not necessarily the words that are coming out of your mouth. A lot of times it's your body language. And if you're uncomfortable with what you're saying, that's all they're going to feel is uncomfortable. So just get up there and be yourself and don't worry about it. Okay? So relax. Just be open, authentic, be you. If you can actually listen once you've relaxed to what other people are saying, then it's great to be able to play off what somebody else has said. That really makes an impression. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that there is somebody in the group that owns an Italian restaurant. There's somebody else in the group that owns a bakery. And then you've got the fitness instructor. Well, that's a perfect grouping right there, okay? Think about it. You get up, you say your name. You ask the Italian restaurant person, hey, why don't you bring us some lasagna to the next meeting? Well, I want to try that famous lasagna. And then the bakery, we could top it off with a nice cake. Then to the fitness instructor. And after we've done all that, you can work us through some cardio so we can burn all that off. People love that if you can play off of what's being said in the room. So just try to think about that. And that way you can listen and just relax and be natural. Another thing I really like are name tags. I really like it when people wear name tags because it avoids a lot of awkward situations. I don't always remember people's names. I meet hundreds of people, as I'm sure many of you do that network a lot. It's hard to remember everybody, even though you know, but then their face, you know what they do. You might not necessarily remember their name. So name tags are a great visual reminder, a visual aid to help you remember them. And then if you've forgotten, to jog your memory. I want to tell you about one of my first times going into a happy hour networking event. It was at the Tasting Room in Uptown Park. And if you're familiar with that place, you know it's a wine bar, nice little place. I walked in by myself to their happy hour event, and it was packed. The room was crowded, and it was mostly men. Now, again, I was recently divorced, and I felt like I was walking into a bar alone. I was not comfortable with it at all. In fact, I was walking into a bar alone. And I looked around the room and I thought, oh, I went in there. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to go home. And I stood there and I kind of gave myself a little talk and said, just go talk to 3 people. That's all you got to do. Talk to 3 people. Then I gave myself permission to leave. And so as I started to weave my way through the room, I realized there was a lot of people with name tags on. And that helped me so much because then I realized that there was a difference between who was there to network and which men were just hanging out at the bar. Because the last thing I wanted to do was to walk up to some man and go, hi, I'm Kathryn Wheat. How are you doing? And they go, hey, come sit down. And they weren't there to network. Actually, I did walk up to somebody one time at a networking event that was not there to network. and introduce myself. There was 2 ladies, and they were sitting right in the middle of all the networking action, okay? I was sure they were there for the networking event. Lo and behold, they weren't. I walked up, said, "Hi, I'm Kathryn Wheat. How are you?" And they just kind of let my hand dangle out there. And one of them looked at me and she rolled her eyes and said, "We're not here for that thingy, whatever. We're not here for that." And I was so embarrassed. I quickly looked around. Did anybody see that happen? And I moved on real quick. But you know, it happens. So if you ever do that, know that you're not the only one. I've already taken care of that for you. You were not the first one that's done it. Okay, so I talked about volunteers. I need 3 people. I need at least a man and a woman. I don't want all the same sex. All right, I got 3 hands in the air. Come on, Dada.
Dada, Diane, and Tedley.
Hey, I was like, I have to do something for that.
Okay, we're going to demonstrate a couple of things. So I want y'all to come a little bit closer so you can be on the camera. And I want you to stand in a circle right here for me.
Circle.
Yeah. So y'all are going to,
Oh, okay, we gotta be on the
You
camera.
gotta-
So we gotta keep going.
you gotta, this is your acting debut. Okay? You're going to act like you're networking. The 3 of you have just met. I want you to not worry about me, what I'm doing. Y'all just act like you're going to introduce each other and start networking, okay? So y'all get in a circle. All right.
And for the record, I won an Oscar already, so this is.
Oh, no. Well, I didn't know we had a professional up here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so y'all just go.
I'm Diane Payne.
I'm Ted Luckman.
And
Dowda.
Diane
Yeah,
Payne. Nice to meet
you don't
you.
have a name.
I don't have a name tag. I'm so sorry. I left it in the car.
That's okay.
Tell me about yourself.
About
What?
myself,
Yes, tell me about yourself. A little bit about your
about my,
personal background or
Who's this
business
person here?
background.
Hi, my name's Kathryn Wheat. How are you? Kathryn, we're good. How are you? Hi. Hi.
I'm Ted Luckman.
Okay, so
I know you.
yes. Y'all don't sit down just yet. So what I'm demonstrating is that when you are networking, pay attention to your peripheral vision. A lot of times I see people in this tight little circle and they're talking, they're all getting to know each other, and they're ignoring somebody that's trying to join the circle, okay? So what you want to do is open up a little bit. Now, I intentionally set y'all up to have a tight little circle and not let me in because I wanted to demonstrate that. Now, there's one more thing while you're up here that I want to talk about, and that is shaking hands. There's a lot of misconceptions about shaking hands. It used to be that women did not shake hands. That was not something that we did, but women also did not used to be in business. They weren't in the networking world. Now that women are in the boardroom and they're doing all kinds of business, it's perfectly fine and acceptable for them to shake hands. But because of all of this confusion, I always encourage women to take the lead on that. You know,
Good
go
job.
ahead.
I did a good job.
Extend your hand, you know.
Hi, Ted. Nice to
Hi.
meet you.
Meet
Hi,
people.
Dowda.
Hey, Ted. How are you, sir?
So here's something else that I want to demonstrate. So I want y'all to like stand in a line now and
All right.
face the room.
Firing
Okay.
squad.
This again.
Move this way a little bit.
So-
All
Oh,
of
the
it.
camera.
There you go. There you go.
You can't miss me. I'm in the
All right,
middle.
all right.
He's also
Okay.
the tallest.
I know.
So I'm going to approach this group of people and we're going to pretend like we've never met before. And I'm going to introduce myself to them. Hi, I'm Kathryn Wheat.
Hi, Kathryn. Ted Luckman.
Hi, Ted. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I really like that name tag you have on.
Thank you. Jan Stevenson made it.
Oh, did she? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know her.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, y'all see what I'm doing here?
You totally ignored us. I'm feeling really
I
bad.
diss them in a
Yeah.
big way.
No love here.
So thank y'all very much. I appreciate your courage to volunteer to get up. You've done a great job.
Should I have held my hand instead of just stretching it out?
No, you did the, I'm going to talk about that next on,
Okay.
on how
Your
to
excuse.
deal with that. Yes.
Okay.
Thank y'all very much.
The main difficulty was we already know each other.
I-
We know what we do.
So I see this a lot too. you get people that are really kind of wrapped up in themselves, and they feel like everybody should know them, and they really don't care too much about actually meeting other people. And it's like they're, you know, the superstar, and I'll allow them to shake my hand, but I'm not really going to make eye contact. Okay, if you can't make eye contact with someone, don't bother holding your hand out to them. And if it were me, I mean, I've had this happen to me so many times that when I see somebody doing that to me, I'll just walk off. If they, you know, if they're wrapped up in a conversation with someone else and they're trying to shake my hand, they're not even noticing me anyway. Just go talk to somebody else. It's okay. You have my permission. Another thing that I say is that you have to bring your sense of humor when it comes to networking. If you don't have a sense of humor, then you're probably going to be miserable. I've been invited to some crazy events, okay? And I've attended some crazy events. You know, if I wasn't able to bring my sense of humor, then I probably would be in the loony bin by now. Because there's been some times where I've just had to laugh. You know, you just can't do anything else but laugh. I talk about a lot of these events in my book. If your curiosity is piqued, that's good. But if you're in a bad mood, let's say you just had the worst day ever, okay? Don't go. Stay at home, go home, have a glass of wine, put your feet up, get your book, put on your favorite TV show, whatever it is you do that helps you wind down, go do that instead, because you're doing yourself more harm than good if you can't walk in with a smile on your face. Another thing is walk in with confidence. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret when it comes to confidence. A lot of us are faking it. Okay, that's the one thing it's okay to fake, and that's confidence. You know, you don't always feel it. I still get nervous. I network all the time now, but if I am going to a new event, people I've never met before, I don't know the layout, I don't know how it works, I still get nervous, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. I promise you, each time it gets easier, and you will start feeling that confidence eventually. I think that's about all the time that we have for now. I'm going to wrap up a little bit. I do have a book coming out that is in the process of getting published, and it's got many more war stories and tips. I promise it's a good read. But I want to thank all of you for having me here. I've known many of you since I got started, and as I said, some of your advice, support, encouragement has meant the world to me. I have made a ton of friends networking. I've made great business connections networking. In fact, all of the sponsors that I have on womansinsight.com come from people I know from networking. All of them. I'm not a salesperson, so networking works if you do it right. I've done business with quite a few people in this room. So, I mean, it's great. I love networking. I want to finish with one of my favorite quotes. It's by Marianne Williamson, and I have it partially memorized, so forgive me for trying to read of this. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you. Thank you. And I do want to say, you know, there's a lot of people in this room that are special to me. Obviously, there's one that's a little extra special to me. And I think he's pretty special to most people in this room as well. So
And there's Ronnie too.
yeah, and then we know Ronnie.
Yeah, he's pretty unique.
So do you have time for like any questions, Cindy? What time is it? It's 10:07. Anybody have there's a question with Arthur.
Help me understand why you wear your name tag on the right-hand side.
Because I don't really think it makes a difference which side you wear it on. A lot of people say that this is where you're supposed to wear it. Being a right-handed person, this is just where it comes natural for me to put it.
When you shake hands, You go forward and they see it. If you're on the left side, you shake hands, they can't see your name tag.
And I've heard that as well.
But Ronnie wears his on the left a lot.
So Kathryn,
Same as lady.
how do you decide what networking events to go to? That's kind of.
Oh, a lot of times it's a very last minute decision. I always say business comes first. If you have business to take care of, then take care of your business. You know, there's a million networking events every hour of every day. The list is long. So a lot of times it depends on, even as much as if I have a meeting in a certain area that I have to be at, and I'll find a networking event to go to after or before that.
And so those events, a lot of them that I've been trying to get involved with want a lot of money from you. So that kind of.
I talk about that in my book a lot. For the most part, I don't pay to network. There are some groups that have minimal fees, such as this one, that are very strong groups and very valuable. The big fees, you can network yourself out of business if you're not careful. So when you're looking at paying fees, look at the big picture. Look at the entry fee, look at the meeting fees, look at, are you supposed to bring door prizes? Do they encourage you to buy raffle tickets? Do you have to drive across town? All those things add up. If you have to buy a meal, it can get really expensive if you're not careful. So just look at the big picture, and also look at whether or not you see those same people at other networking events.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
I want to give a plug for Woman's Insight. If they throw a networking event, you should go, because it is jam-packed most of the time, and most of the people are there to network. So I remember when you just first started out, you were so shy.
Can you believe that?
Look what Ronnie did.
Yeah, look.
I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Stan, if you would pass out the referral cards. What we're going to do for you first timers is we're passing out cards, and these are what we do is we write a to whoever you're writing it to, and the from goes first. So it's from D&K Photography to me. I know what it is, but basically we put those in a hat and we draw for door prizes. So when I first got up here, I said that I gave you what our mission statement was, and that was to be a unique networking group that not only benefits the members, but it benefits the community. And this is how we're benefiting the members. These are word of mouth. The best salesman you can have is a referral. And while Stan, you're passing that out, I'm going to read. Young kids have got their little texting stuff. I got this from a very astute young man named Jerry Adams. Where's Jerry? Is he still here?
I went around there.
Okay, but anyhow, LOL. Back when we were young, we used to put LOL, which meant lots of love. Okay. And when first time I got a text from my daughter and it said LOL, I thought, oh, how sweet, lots of love. And she was laughing at me. Okay. Now seniors have their own texting code. So as you get older, ATD means at the doctor's. BFF, best friend's funeral. BT, this is from Jerry Adams. BTW, bring the wheelchair. Okay. BYOT, bring your own teeth. Okay. CBM, covered by Medicare. CAUTSC, see you at the senior center. DWI, driving while incontinent. FWIW, forgot where I was. GGPBL, gotta go, pacemaker battery low. Okay. Anyhow, there's a couple of them. LOL, by the way, is living on Lipitor. So now, hopefully that gave you enough time to write down all of your referrals. Mr. Stan is going to pass out the red basket, and we have.
Announce them as we go. Donna has one for Roy and Gail.
Okay.
Brian to Larry.
And we only have two. All right, we throw it here.
Kathryn to Lisa and Kathy to
Brad,
Brad.
Alabama.
From Elisa to
They
Brian.
don't know how to catch an alligator.
Brian. All of them. Okay.
All right. Well, Miss Elisa, you brought us a football.
I'll explain the football. I was at Reliant Stadium for a broker event for Reliant Brokers. And so we got to meet some of the football players, and they signed this, 3 of them signed this little football.
How fun.
I can't read their names, I can't recognize them because they didn't have their helmets on, but their numbers are next to the names.
JJ
Way to go.
It's from Brian.
From Brian.
Brian gets the football.
Wow, I have to.
Oh, it's for you.
No, I'm at the referral.
BA.
It's got the
Is there a
jersey
ninety
numbers.
nine?
What's the numbers?
So you can look them up.
54, 60, and 34.
Did you have
I need
any?
to say something.
I have no idea what those people are.
I want the whole group to hear this.
Please do.
It's very important.
Okay.
All hail, Brian Hall. Listen, I've had Macintoshes since '87, and I used to have really good people, technicians, and they all disappeared. And then I started having problems again, and Elisa said, "Call Brian." I was very resistant, and I finally
Look
did.
at him turning red.
Oh my God, he's my new best friend. He's took care of all my problems. It's so good to have a professional who really knows what they're doing.
You know what though? Everybody's gonna find out about him, and he's not gonna be able to come anymore.
No, yeah, we have to make an appointment for Tuesday.
But you gotta admit, it's a math. How hard could it be?
Well, I said it could be done.
Brad, make sure you promote wherever
That's
you're
insane.
located.
All right. By the way, I wish Alan Green were here. He's nice enough to let us do this at this location. And I forgot the name of the location. Northgate Venue. Northgate Venue. Thank you.
Brad, I've got Kathryn's going to give away 4. What do you call it? Renaissance Festival. Anybody like Renaissance Festival? Okay, so here's how I prefer to do it, and I think Cindy said it was okay. I think people. I don't like just like 2 or 3 people getting a chance to win. I like everybody.
The one time I give referrals.
So I'm going to do like we did last time for the bottle of wine. You have a pen? Can I borrow your pencil, please, sir? Thank you.
That's a pen.
A pen. I'm going to write down a number between 1 and 100, and whoever's the closest to that number gets 4 Renaissance Festival tickets.
Did you write the number down yet?
No, I haven't. What do you want to write down? Here, you write it.
Don't say that.
Between 1 and 100. Yeah, Bamber was telling what it is. What is it? I'm like, I can't tell you.
Brian's looking.
Okay, who wants to win?
Brian's looking.
Okay, you write it down? Okay.
Hope you can read my writing.
How are we gonna do it?
Okay,
In one
everybody,
order?
real quick, say a number between 1 and 100.
37.
43.
62.
78.
12.
I said 43.
Everybody say one. You got to remember it because I'm going to call them.
26.
22.
75.
58.
18.
You can't change it. This is honor system. So 53 was the number. So who was closer to 53?
I was. I said 43.
I think it was Roy. Thank you, Kathryn Lee.
Okay.
I'll have two friends.
You might have to rent some
yes,
friends,
you do.
Roy.
Hey, I ain't cheap, but I can be. Also, are there any announcements before we go to the formal announcements? Diane, you had your hand up.
Postnet lost our graphic artist, so we're in the market for a graphic artist, and I have a bit of information. if you're on Facebook and you got artist aspect with your resume, know that I'm going to look at it and I don't want to see naked pictures on it. Okay, so.
Why not?
Put on Facebook, it's on there.
Why not?
Well, I'm not doing it. Okay.
The BPW that I'm a member of is having a silent auction event on the third Thursday of October. We are asking for donations for that silent auction, if anyone would like to participate in that. And if anybody's quick on the ball, by Friday of this coming week, we have what's called a swag bag, where if you have 150 items, it doesn't have to be the same item, but any kind of little promotional item that you'd like to put in the bags. For a $25 fee, you get to have some merchandise and a little bit of marketing advertisement in that bag. So if you want more information, see.
And they can also come to it.
Oh, yeah, you come and just. It benefits the Rose.
Is there networking?
It benefits the Rose, which supports breast cancer awareness and also mobile mammograms. So it's a great organization.
All right, Dowd.
Yes, sir. Oh, man, this is actually just giving this young lady a compliment. My rent last month was, sorry, not my rent.
Electric bill.
Electric bill. Was, yes,
Sounds like.
was $145 last month. I have a small house, me and my kids. I didn't change anything. I haven't done anything different. So this is the first time I got a bill from Tri-Eagle, which is the company that she recommended. It's actually $65.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of savings that I have. And
Those
then-
poor kids, turn on your AC.
I'm talking to my children. I haven't changed anything. And I looked at it, I was like, man, this is great. I can get used to this. So I just wanted to thank Lisa for that. And I, you know, so if you guys are interested in something like this, please let her know.
Thank you.
That helps a lot.
Ted?
I want to recommend the use of a person named Brad Page. I needed some office supplies and I called him. He brought it in today and it went from his trunk to my trunk. It can't get easier than
Never from a smile. Yeah, brother.
Well, we're gonna give out compliments. Let me give one to Larry. I called up, my computer has virus, everything was being eaten up, losing everything. Call him up and he said, don't worry about bringing it in, let's just do it over the phone. And we got it all done, didn't have all the problems back and forth, and it works beautifully. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
Thank you, Kathryn. I've known her for years, and if you get a chance, you're right, go to her Insight. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Miss Gail.
We have a birthday party tomorrow night for Diane Holland. It is a surprise birthday party at the Empty Glass. And Kathy, it starts at what?
7.
It starts at 7. So her daughter is trying to do it remotely and has invited.
Are we still live on the web?
You're supposed to RSVP. You're supposed to RSVP.
It's a surprise. No.
There's one viewer. Somebody found us after we re-uplinked.
So if you want to go, and you need to RSVP to her daughter Leanne, and I'll have to send you that information. Just so you can text or call them and let her know. Just to try to find out how many numbers of people are going to be there.
Kathy?
All right. Dana Kelly, which owns the Empty Glass, is putting on a wine festival October the 5th from 12 to 4. A lot of live entertainment out there, a lot of wine. Y'all come out.
And we're winos here for you visitors. If you notice, there's a reoccurring theme here. Diane?
I'm still working on the Toastmasters Club. It looks like we're going to be able to do it at the Lone Star College. I talked to the president yesterday.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yes.
She's from Alabama.
I didn't know that. But
Don't hold that against her.
we were at the Renaissance Festival. They do all work. But anyway, it's looking like maybe Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm still working on that. If anybody wants to join me and join the group, let me know. And we'll get
Which
it out.
branch?
Lone Star College in Tomball.
In Tomball.
Larry.
There's one right here too.
Yes. Sorry.
Getting back to the winos, I need 10 empty wine bottles and
Oh.
4 empty whiskey bottles. And if you have any, just bring them
By when?
next Friday or anytime.
Wine.
Today.
Why?
He's gonna repurpose them.
I'm selling these stone wine racks. One of my customers makes them, and I'm going to be displaying those at my office and selling them. And I want to put in the wine bottles and the whiskey bottles.
And you only need
You want
four?
to just come pick them up, you can come back and do that.
Oh, great. Do you have
You
whiskey?
know somebody that has wine.
So I need the whiskey bottles.
Okay,
Okay, they're all good.
any more announcements before we go to our official?
Yeah.
Going once, going twice?
Yeah.
So to the lady in the red shirt. Oh, by the way, visitors, you see a lot of us wearing red. We do that to honor the military. They sacrifice, and not only them, but their families sacrifice quite a bit. So we kind of call this Red Shirt Friday. So a lot of us
Amen.
wear red on Friday. So.
Yes, thank you so much, Brad, for doing that. We don't have a ton of announcements. One was going to be Diane's birthday party. So, but one of the, first of all, we are a member of the Greater Tomball Area Chamber of Commerce. So if you're not a member of that organization through your business, but you're a member of Network Tomball, Network Texas Tomball, you can go to the chamber events and so forth. The luncheon is next Friday at noon, or at 11:30 actually, at the college, at the Beckendorf Center, which is to the left of the tennis courts there. But if you'd like to go, and you're not going as a member of your own business, if you'll write your name, it's on that side, because there wasn't any room to write over there. So if you go over on that side and put your name on the chamber luncheon, we like to make a reservation so they'll know how much food to fix. They do a great job at the college in providing lunch for us. So anyway, it's $17 if you pre-register. It's $20 if you don't. And it's just very nice that they know how many people are coming. One of the organizations that we have supported in the past, and I think their information is on our website, is Tomball. Tomball is a local medical ministry that takes care of people that have basically fallen through the gap. They don't have health insurance, they don't qualify for Medicaid and so forth, and they need medical care. They have actually almost a greater burden for health care now since the federal law encompassing health care has been passed. So one thing that you can do to help support Tomball is if you shop at Amazon. Amazon is a lot more than books these days. So if you shop at Amazon and you'd like to designate Tomball as an organization that will get 0.5% from Amazon's foundation, you can go to smile.amazon.com. And when you put in I looked at it briefly this morning, I couldn't find the spot, but it'll ask you one time what organization you want to benefit. You put Tomball's name in, then when you shop after that, it'll always go toward Tomball. But I think it's a wonderful way to give them support in something you're already doing, because a lot of people shop at Tomball.
Could I say something real quick about them?
Certainly.
I know I do this every time, but
Oh,
how many
glad you
people
do.
here have been to Tomball? If you haven't been, you need to go over there and go through that facility. It's totally amazing what those people do. And it makes you appreciate your life a little more. I know it did me. We take a lot of things for granted, but it's just amazing what those people have done. And I like to mention that every
Thank
time
you,
you
so
bring
I'm
it up.
glad you do. And I just happen to be an ambassador for Tomball, but they charge a minimal fee, like $15, whatever it is, to go and see the doctor. You have to pay something, but it's not the regular fee and so forth. And, they don't get any government assistance and so forth. They have some grants and so forth, but a lot of it's community support that keeps that organization going. It's been going for 25 years. It's just amazing. So if you'd like to help do that. And then there's also, and I'll send you this information if you'd like to, if you shop at Kroger.
Yeah.
You can give them a certain number for Tomball and they will get a certain percentage of the benefit. And this Saturday, the Bugs and Brew event, which is going on tomorrow, their proceeds are going to be donated to Tomball. Is that not fabulous?
Beautiful.
So there are a lot of things going on like that, but it's just a wonderful way for you. And if you'd like to take a tour and, get in touch with me and I'll arrange for you to go through and take a tour of that. And then on October 21st, Tomball Business and Professional Women we're doing our Food Fest, which is a fabulous event. It's going to be at the Methodist Church on Baker Drive. You get to go and participate, just taste the food of about a dozen wonderful food vendors in the Tomball area. And we have raffle tickets as well, $5 for $1 or
$5 for $1?
$5 for $20.
Let me get $5 worth.
I'm sorry. I can't talk this morning, but there's an opal and tanzanite ring, a wine package, speaking of wine, worth $800. HD, high definition smart TV, and iPad Air. Those are the raffle
Do
items.
you have to be present to win?
You do not have to be
No.
present to win.
And you can buy a raffle ticket without showing up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And we also have silent auction items on which you can bid. So, it's just, and several of us have tickets. Johnetta has tickets, Kathy has tickets.
You have to be
Gail
present
has
to purchase, so.
Yeah,
You
you
do.
do. Present to
Yeah.
purchase. And
But
you have
anyway.
to keep that little part that has your name on it so we can find it.
Okay.
No, we
Turn that in. So-
we keep that part, and then we
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
this little part here with the number on it. So anyway, but it's just, all proceeds in excess of expenses go towards scholarships for local students. So it's just a wonderful event, so. 11:30,
11:30 to 1 on
October
October
21st,
21st.
third Tuesday, okay?
And it's my birthday.
It's a Tuesday.
Oh, okay, oh, wow.
Libra's rules.
All right, wonderful. So I think, there aren't,
39 plus tax. He's not a Libra.
and if you like networking, and I haven't gotten a list recently and we need to thank Brian also for keeping things, announced.
Yeah, Brian!
Posted to our website, but what I was gonna say, we're gonna thank them in a minute, but what I was gonna say is, go, if you're interested in chamber events, a good thing to attend, the chamber luncheon, the chamber breakfast is always on the third Tuesday at Luby's and Tomball at 7:00 in the morning, but you get to network with a smaller group of people because they're 50 or 60 people or 25 to 60 people, whatever the occasion is. The luncheons are larger, there might be a couple hundred people there. Wonderful networking, but you might only be able to meet people at your table and table around you because there are other activities going on. So the chamber is a wonderful place to network, and then also business after hours. Those are usually from 5 to 7, and you can meet other people there, and get to talk with them a little bit more about their business. So, and then something else that this group recommends is, we've done our commercials this morning. Kathryn did a phenomenal talk.
Yeah, Kathryn!
One-on-ones, individual one-on-ones with each other. In fact, I was thinking when I sat there, I need to do a one-on-one with Kathryn. I mean, she's fascinating. What she's accomplished is amazing, and I need to learn more detail so I can refer her to other people. But that's why you do a one-on-one. You find out what Lonnie. WebStars sounds wonderful, but I've never done. It's not intentional, but I haven't yet done a one-on-one with Lonnie to know how I can refer his services to other people. So one-on-ones outside of this session are very valuable because that way you can refer people's services. I will say, as far as essential oils, and Becky, I had burned my arm, 6 weeks ago or so, and my daughter-in-law, who's in the medical field, does wound care, provided a remedy for me that was wonderful, but it was still, since I added the lavender oil to it, it's improved even more. So appreciate that, Becky. Okay, I think that's all we have for this week, but if you want to know about event, go, and then Roy and Gail.
Thank you, Roy and Gail.
Roy and Gail are phenomenal,
Resident techie.
I said happy New Year to somebody, but I didn't know today was his birthday. So everybody get your singing voice ready. Arthur, please. Arthur Barish turned, this is the what anniversary?
39 plus tax.
39th anniversary of your 39th birthday. Arthur is 78 years old.
He's from Lower Alabama. He don't know how to
Really want to know how to go around? Look at my website, barronfa.com.
So everybody go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Awful. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Did I see your hand come up? Charlotte. Sorry.
Lisa.
Y'all are in right in the right line.
Charlotte.
Hers was up first, Elisa. So real quick.
I was wondering about the young lady that had the motorcycle accident.
Oh,
Jerry Dorsett.
She is able to get out, she's able to drive and so forth. I saw her about 3 weeks ago. She still walks somewhat with a cane, but she is doing better. She's going to have to change her,
She is sworn off motorcycles.
yeah, oh, absolutely, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely,
fine.
yeah. And she is a big fan of mediation and was in mediation. She still supports that, but she's basically going to find a new working situation. She was working at a private school, but because of her
Limitations.
Yeah, well, just because she was out all the time, you know, and the school changed ownership, and then therefore they replaced, you know, her position. But thank you for asking. I'll let her know that.
Physical therapy going on.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Lisa,
Pandora asked that I make an announcement on her behalf. She's not here today because she's participating in a fall gift market at the St. Mary's Church on Lowetta and Eldridge. And it's today and tomorrow from 9 to 4. So it's a fall gift market at Mary's Church on Lowetta and Eldridge.
Okay, very good.
Unfortunately, my wife is over there spending money.
Saving you money, saving you money. She's gonna tell you how much she saved.
Right.
That's right.
It was over
Visitors,
there.
thank you for coming. Please come back.
And next week, Stan is doing a spotlight for us. I might be here. I unfortunately, Rachel and I are doing a presentation to a real estate office for lunch next Friday. So I may be here for 15 minutes or I may not be here at all. It's not lack of interest. It's just, it was rescheduled for me at that time and I didn't have an opportunity to say no. So that's the deal. And Mark,
And guys, when I say time for announcements, then we go to the official announcements. That means no more announcements. But he had one and you have one. But next
Can't
time,
discriminate.
after we get say any other announcements, then we go to official announcements. If you raise your hand after that, Paul, I'm gonna hit you. All right, Mark, go ahead.
With the problem with those acronyms for the all age
seniors?
things.
That's
I can't
Jerry's
remember.
fault. Where's Jerry?
I need the one that says I forgot.
what they mean.